Timmy, what are you doing, buddy?
Hey, we've got a double header going on today.
We got a double header. We certainly
Yeah.
do. We had Lee Kinlan today. We taped that show. That's going to be uploaded in the next day. And our good friend, and we talked about him with Lee Kinlan today, Danny McCoy. He's going to jump on in a little while. But Timmy, look it. Before we start, I really just got to go into this.
About the current issues, people are frustrated, people are angry, people are fearful about
Fearful,
what's happening
Timmy.
with the cuts in Washington, D.C., the tariffs.
Timmy, these people are fearful.
I'm
just wanna
fearful.
know, can you sleep at night, or are you fearful? Do you
very
feel
fearful. Okay, I need a therapist now. Okay, after this guy here, I need a therapist.
Danny McCoy, what are you doing, buddy? Welcome to Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit. Good to have you again. Are you fearful,
I
Danny?
appreciate
wanna
being
know.
on it. You crack me up, man. Tim. I was hoping you're the voice of reason, Tim. Okay.
No, I suffer right along with you there, Dan, with doing this podcast with Sean.
What is this guy's name? He's a congressman, Tandadar or something like that. Shavai Tandadar. He wants you to feel like you can't sleep at night. But I went to bed last night. I slept like a baby. And I got up this morning. I said, the only thing I'm scared about is McCoy going to answer his text message that I send him? Because it's usually 6 or 7 days before I get a yes or a no. Not a lot in the text message. Hey, Dan, Sean, can you give me a call? Yeah. Hey, Dan, what are you doing? Yeah. Danny, you around? No. But hey, listen, he showed up, and Danny, we really appreciate it.
I that's why I drive people crazy. That's how I answer it. I just acknowledge I got it. I'm not acknowledging I agree or disagree with the text that was sent me.
Well, all I said is your name, Dan McCoy. I mean, you can agree or disagree.
I got a good attorney on the outside. He goes, do not ever answer text messaging.
He got thrown under the bus today, didn't he? We managed to get you thrown under the bus today, Dan.
Uh oh.
I come on his.
I'm not surprised, Tim. I'm not surprised.
I tell him, I say, if you don't answer, I'm coming to your house.
Listen, I didn't tell my staff I was going on this tonight because they're like, every time I say I'm going on Sean's podcast with Tim, they go, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't know
listen,
what he's
Danny,
hit you with.
You're the star of this show.
I got my finger right on that 10-second delay button in case anybody says the wrong thing.
So here's the reality. I mean, we can joke around, but Danny, listen, thank you from a Cohoes resident, a member of the old Cohoes Community Center board, and a kid that probably would be dead today if the Cohoes Community Center didn't exist. Thank you for having the wherewithal to say, look, I'm going to buy this place as the county exec, and I'm going to open it back up because the value is, so incredible that it can't just sit there and rot away, man. Thank you.
No,
I appreciate
it. I want to give you credit, and I gave you credit at the press conference. And if it wasn't for you and Gil and really, bringing this to light,
Sean Ward at the time,
Ward, yep.
Yeah.
Bill Ricard now, Bob Beston, Maggie Alex. But it really started with you and Sean and Gil, and you brought it to light. When it closed down, we were looking at buying it. We were going to try to do something in the legislature. You were dragging us through it all, you and Gil and Sean. and I remember the story you told me. You said, hey, I was a kid. I was in a bad way, and it was a good place for me to go to release some steam, to get some good mentorship. And we lost that in City Cohoes. And, these two people came in. They privately purchased it. They had a great plan. They fixed the building up because it was in rough shape, Sean, if you remember when we walked through it, how bad shape it was in. And they put a lot of money into it. And it was better for us. And I don't know if you remember this conversation, so you can correct me, and I'm just going off from memory. When me and Gil, we talked about this, and Sean, and you said, hey, it's better to keep it in private hands than government hands. Let them figure it out. They tried. And unfortunately, COVID hit. It wrecked a lot of businesses. Some survived, some didn't. Some new businesses came out of COVID. Unfortunately, they couldn't make the numbers work afterwards, and it got me down the path that I was going down to saying, hey, look, we got to do this. We got to do this for the kids, and we have to secure that side of the county. We got to bring them services so a kid can be a kid and have a safe place to go and play. Like you said, Sean, that,
Yeah.
you know, to have somebody supervising, parents knowing that their kids aren't running the streets, and it's proven. If you keep the kids off the street, you keep their minds preoccupied. It's good stuff. And some of the stuff we're going to launch out of this, you know, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be good for the city. It's going to be good for Waterville, Green Island, that side of the community. Hopefully kids from Troy come over and want to interact. It's going to be opened up for everyone. Saratoga, because it's right on the side of you. So, you know, we want a place where kids can come together and just be kids.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can you share a little bit with us about
So,
what you're gonna
you know,
do?
it was a long journey, and I was kind of joking around at the press conference because, you know, and I want to say this. I know you're making fun of Democrats, and I didn't know the guy was a congressman. So now that you said that, that's bringing it to a different light. But Governor Hochul was smart enough to put swims program in the budget last year. She did it again this year to open up pools for kids that don't have an opportunity. So we got a grant from the state. We were going down this path anyway, and you know, we ended up getting $1.8 million. John McDonald's giving us a $500,000 grant, sand grant. He's working on that now, so hopefully that comes through. And what's that's going to do is to improve it. So when we're going through, we did the valuation of the building, what it was worth, and you know, we came up with our numbers. They had their numbers, and it was going back and forth. And you know, we got up to like over $1 million, and then we found out, you know, through the process of the court, all the liens they had on the building. I could not believe how many liens were on the building. And I remember, you know, I'm like, I can't believe this. I closed quicker on the College of St. Rose campus than I did at the Cohoes Community Center. It was, and I joked, I go, it's the water in Cohoes. They got to get their water out of the Hudson.
Well, we have a whole podcast about the water, kid.
I know I used to joke with you, Sean, especially when you're mayor. You used to get pissed. You're like, we got our water out of the Mohawk. Stop your bull crap, you know. And I'm like, I swear to God, you're drinking the Hudson water over there, right? But
no, we may be now.
We almost disagree with me the way, you know. But you're even passionate then, and we were talking about it back then, and you know, look, it lined up for us. I feel bad for the people that tried to make this work, but you know, we're going through the court process. We ended up paying for the building, all said and done, $725,000. But then there's a lien on the equipment, the gym equipment, the stuff in the building for $800,000. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? So, you know, we went to, you know, I got to thank my team, Mike McLaughlin, my deputy, Jeff Jameson, the county attorney now, Mike Lally, Cam Sagan, everyone that was in my office, you know, even Mary Rozak, the PR lady, everyone was like hands-on. I was driving the law department crazy. You know, and I like the art of negotiation. So we ended up paying $25,000.
You and Trump. The art of the deal.
I would not compare myself to him, nor would I want to, you know, be compared to him. But the reality is, we end up paying $750,000 for everything, and then now we have money. There's stuff, infrastructure stuff that we don't have to fix right away, but we're gonna fix now. You know, for the pool, make it safer, make the building. You know, it's freshly painted. We're gonna paint. You know, we're gonna paint the areas that need to be painted, clean it up. Redo the kitchen was the only thing they didn't do. So we're going to do the kitchen. So, you know, you can do bakes there. You can sell food there for games to bring more money in.
It's got so many different options.
And then one of the things, I don't know if you remember this or not. I don't know if it was you or Gil driving me crazy, because I love Gil Ether, but that guy.
Gil.
Oh, my God. He's like a pit bull that bites you and you can't shake him, right? And,
a honey badger.
Yeah. He does not.
That's what he is.
Stop.
He's a honey badger.
I thought Sean was bad. I'm like, it's definitely the water. I don't know, man. But,
Gil stuff.
He was all over me, and you know, he's like, you know, I joked at the press conference. I go, he call your cell phone. Sean knows this too, when he was in the ledge, and probably when you're mayor, and you don't answer it. And I'm like, I'm not. He knows I'm up late. He knows I don't sleep. And I'm like, I'm not answering him at 2 a.m. He calls my house phone. I go, Gil, what the? I was like, what? I had some choice words. I go, what are you doing? My wife
doesn't say, Dan.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I dialed your cell. I said, Gil, you dialed my cell, and I ignored you. And I go, why would you call my house number? And that's how he is. He doesn't stop.
No, that's how Cohoes is, Danny. That's in Cohoes we learned the only way to win is never to stop.
Listen,
Gil would call me at 1 a.m.
learned in this office, Tim, it's easier just to please them to walk away, because they're not going to stop, right? You think you shaped them, but you didn't. But
I,
in all reality, we made it work. We have enough money back to invest in the building. Sean, I don't know if you remember this, behind the gym, there's an outside grass area. We're going to put a full
there's a
basketball
grass area.
court
It used to
with a
be
pickleball court
Really?
in the middle of it.
Outside?
Yeah,
Outside?
outside and
Oh,
behind the
that's
building.
great because you know what?
Yeah.
Those kids don't really have much on the outside. There's a little playground right there, but they don't have a basketball court. They're playing with a hoop in a road, Dan. So if you
Yeah,
get a
no.
court on the outside, that'd be great.
I
Hey,
said to
Timmy,
Gil,
lift your
though,
head
I
up a
want
little
to play
because your
I
name's
go,
cutting
Gil,
your
I just
face
got
off.
one favor. I want to play you and Morris. I said
Nah, you
pickleball.
don't want to play me.
I said I just want to play you two and just beat you, okay? Because I'm done with you. And
I got bad legs, bad back. I can't walk. I'm
that's
like
why I figure I
a
can take you
crippled.
now, Sean. You're getting older. I
Last
had to
week I
wait.
couldn't
I'm
get
a
out of
patient
bed for
man.
4 days.
I'll wait to get you, and I'm gonna wait. And I'll wait a little bit longer. Make sure you can't
Hey,
swing
Danny.
back.
Danny, I always remember this because I told you we don't quit in Cohoes. We lock on and we don't give up, right?
I know.
And I was talking to John McDonald the other day. I said, John, I remember Danny McCoy called me up saying, "Hey, Sean, you got to give John a break. He's telling me that you call him so much and you won't stop bothering him. He's physically getting ill."
He told me that.
And I said,
and he goes, "What do you do?" I go, "What do you think I do, John?" I go, "I want to."
You give in.
You get on the phone with him, you're like, "Oh my God!" Like, he won't stop. It's like, Gil, I swear, Tim, it's your water. I'm gonna have my health department check it out, but
hey, we just had a whole podcast about bad water, so you may be checking it out sooner.
What
rather
I'll
than
do
later.
for you, Dan, I'll get you a bacteria and sample report.
Thank you, Tim. But so we got a lot of things we're going to launch there. The College of St. Rose kind of set me back a little bit because that's a bigger
but that's
project.
another great thing, Danny.
No,
that's
thank
another
you.
Great thing.
And but I am not losing my focus on the city of Cohoes. We're going to launch some good stuff there. You're going to be surprised. And Sean, it was passionate to you as it is passionate to Gil and Bill Ricard and everyone. They want to make sure that kids that can't pay can pay, and I said we got to figure that out. And it's going to be private pay at certain hours, but then it's going to be open up to the kids. The kids that can't pay are going to be able to come in for free. We're going to hire someone to work the gym to teach them how to work out properly, how to physically get in shape. You see so many people go to the gym. And that's the one thing I learned in the military. And I remember the guy said, "Hey," he goes, "I watch you guys rotate in and rotate out." And he goes, "You think you're doing all this," and they give you a plan. And when you work out, they're like, you need a plan. You need to figure it out what you're looking to build up, or what cardio or muscle mass or whatever, just get toned up. So we got the right person for that. We'll be announcing that and a variety of other stuff. And Bill Keeler is letting us, giving us a parking lot next to it. So we'll put more parking in. The VFW, Gil worked out with them. They're going to let people park there without worrying about getting towed, because parking's an issue. You guys know better than me.
Yeah, of course.
There's not a lot of parking there. So we'll have that established, which is great. And, we could, we could open up quicker, but I want to do it right. I want the kids and the adults of the city of Cohoes to come there and know they got a great facility they can take pride in.
Danny, I'm confident. Look, I tell people all the time, everything you touch turns to gold, and that's because you care about what you're doing. So the community center is in great hands. I can't wait to see what you bring to the facility. What's it going to be called? Do you have a name for it yet?
No, I got a name. I'm
Sean
going to
Morse,
surprise everyone.
Jim?
I'm working on something.
The
So
Tim Thibodeau Community Center.
There you go. We'll call it Tim and Sean Place. No, I got a name in mind, and I want to surprise everybody. And,
yeah, that's cool. That's good.
So, Dan, any deals for or what kind of considerations for, say, seniors and vets?
Same thing, Tim. I'm a combat vet, so we'll have our veterans department. We'll run different programs there. Our Department of Aging. It's something we did in the hill towns in Burnock, Westerlo. We did outreach, and it's the same type of stuff. Look, I like to joke around with the people in the hill towns. And Sean knows this. We used to say this all the time. You don't want the fresh air of the city. People don't want to come off the hill towns. They don't want to come out of their community. They live in their community because they love it. We got to bring, look, one thing I learned through COVID we don't have to be in a building anymore, and we need to be more centrally located. Sean knows this. At one time when he was mayor, we were talking about like opening up a county office there so we can meet people. So this would be a place, we might be able to have probation certain hours, or a department of aging, different things we'll have there, so people don't have to come in the city. We'll figure out, because we have the data analytics, who comes from that side of town, and it might be easier for them to go meet someone there to get services versus coming into the city of Albany, taking a bus, taking a lift, or an
Could be a
Uber.
one-stop shop, Danny. Albany County
and
one-stop
that's
shop.
what we want to do.
Great idea.
We got
Yeah,
a partner. I'm hoping to, Tim, I'll say this to you. I'm hoping to get, and I said this to Gil and Bill, I'm hoping to get a better partnership with the city of Cohoes to, maybe they'll fund some stuff and pay for some programs. It's a partnership, right? And we can really make this a jewel again. Because Sean, like your passion, Tim, Gil, if I get to hear Gil, I swear Gil said he built the place. He might have. He's that old, but
I got to tell you a story about Gil.
Well,
and I know he's watching this show.
No,
but
listen, he's nervous right now. Gil, I hope
this is why I love Gil. I love him. And back when I was the mayor of the city, and we had opening days at the little leagues, right?
Yeah.
And so during the opening ceremonies, Gil would get up and speak, and he would tell everybody how back when he played, like 1940, whatever the hell year it was,
1902.
that he was, that every year he made the All-Star team. And I said to him, Gil, here's the truth, man. We looked at the records, and back in 1940, there was only 7 kids to play on a 9-man team. So of course you always made the All-Star team.
Yeah, he
And he looked at.
he was at a council meeting just a couple of weeks ago, and he stood up and he said, "I'm the oldest guy in this room," and all this other stuff like that. He's been around since the Civil War.
I agree with you. He cracks me up. He's like, "Oh, I kind of let the cat out of the bag." I go, "Of course you did, Gil. Of course."
He's a good guy, though.
He listen. His heart, his wife, his family. They're embedded in the city of Cohoes, and he's a true definition of someone that loves the city, like you guys do.
Yeah.
The people of the city of Cohoes take a lot of pride in it, and we want to be a good partner with them. And there's some ideas we got, but I got a lot from Sean and these guys, and Bill and Gil and Bob and Maggie. Sean still from South Carolina was still saying, "Great deal. Make sure you do this." I'm like, "Sean, you're out of here, man. I don't want to hear from you no more."
Yeah. I wonder how he's doing. I haven't seen him since.
He's doing great.
He moved.
Man. I miss him. He was level-headed. Sean, you know this. Whether you agreed with Sean or not, his heart was in the right direction. Like you, you and I get accused of being too passionate at times, right? And it gets you because you want to do the right thing, and it's not easy staring a body of 39 people to agree with something that's not in their district because they become territorial.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, my position's always been, I really don't give a shit what people think about me. I'm just going to do what I got to do to get it done. I mean, think about this, right? You and I fought our asses off to build a new nursing home. Now I left, but guess what? The nursing home passed and it got built, right? And do you remember for like six years, it was you and I, the 2 votes that stopped it from being sold. And I used
everyone
to say,
wanted to keep it, but Tim, no one wanted to put money in it. No one wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I talked to Sean, and we were at the point where like, look, we either got to sell this or we got to fix it. And then I go, look, let's put it in a vote. Let's sell it. If you don't want to put the money in and invest in it, then we got to get out of the business, right? And you had to have that argument. And I remember my first year in office, first 2, it was a battlement. Because it's like, look, you everyone's talking a good game, and Sean knows this, but no one wants to pass the bonds. No one wants to invest the money.
Yeah.
We got it done. It's a beautiful facility. And, we put a daycare. So I like to have you come out and see it. We put a little Sprouts on the
Well, there you go. We have a place for Timmy to go during the week.
Yeah. But we
got a daycare center for you.
My wife worked there for 27 years, and you guys saved it and saved her job, actually.
Yeah. No, I got to tell you, we this daycare is first of its kind in New York State, And the best part of this whole thing is, it was great to say to the senators in the assembly, and I talked to the governor about it. I go, you paid for it. I go, DOH, we did it through them. We got the bonds underwritten because we opened it up to the workers of the nursing home. And I go, we're not charging them. Anyone that makes under 54 grand and works in our nursing home, in the county in general, goes for free. Anyone between 54 and $84,000 a year, it's $75 a week, and anyone over 84 is $100. To get people back, because one thing I learned through COVID, not just the nursing home, Sean, we'll get into this in a second because you understand this better than I did because you represented nursing homes. We lost a lot of good women in the workforce because after COVID they couldn't come back. They can't afford daycare, or they just they can't do it. So we're giving them the option. My goal with that nursing home, if I ever get there, is to have it open 7 days a week. So when people got to work nights or weekends, and that happens with single parents, or they got to work some overtime, or they're on a weekend shift and they don't have family. It'll be more like a sit-in service. We got cameras in there; they can watch it. But the best part of this whole thing is watching these kids go over to the nursing home for Christmas parties, or just go interact with the residents, and the joy and the smile it puts on their face is just it's worth everything. And looking at how much money we spent. And what we invest back, but what we're getting out of it for the workers. I wish more workers take advantage of it. One of the issues we had, people are like, well, it's out of my way. I'm like, okay, you got to drive up by the airport and back down to work, wherever building you're in, but it's free if you're under 54 grand. I'm like,
and it's open 24 hours a day. You got security there still, Dan?
Yep. Oh yeah, no, we got security there.
The building's open 24 hours. Yeah, it was a smart
Sean,
move.
It's that nursing home, in my opinion, is one of the best in the area. And we were used to be there. We're there now. Is it perfect?
Well, I'm proud that we were part of the two guys that kept it alive.
It was a fight. I gotta tell you that. I don't miss them days of fighting over that. But at the end of the day, you see that result and you walk in there. We did an average, Tim, of workers that came in there, or visitors. 5 minutes they spent with their loved ones. They spent more time walking into the building and out of the building than they did there. Now, families are having birthday parties there. They're hanging out for the day. They're out in the courtyards for cookouts. It's been a game changer. And I would tell it. I would love everyone to be in there. And you know what? Whether and it's for people, and Sean knows this, that don't have money. That should get the same quality care as somebody with money, and we have addressed that backbone in the county.
Yeah, that's
I'll be honest with you, the only really bitch I have, the health department. They love coming in, finding us, and I'm like, do you go to private nursing homes? Because and a lot of them they don't have to, like they do in county facilities, right? So they treat us a little bit. They treat us harsher than they treat another privately owned nursing home because of the way the rules are set up. So I'm told. And I'm not 100% because it bothers me. I'm like, wait a minute. I know this one nursing home that we get complaints, and I'm like, hey, you got to go to state DOH, and we get a little incident in ours, and we're being fined left and right by the state. It's just
because
they go a money grab.
They go in there, Dan. They got to find something wrong, or they're not doing their job. That's what
I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Young Crandall, right? And she's an administrator in Connecticut. And I just talked to her 25, 30 minutes ago. And we were talking about the health department. And I said to her, the only reason the health departments exist is so they can come after nursing home. And if they don't find nothing, there's no reason for them to exist. So they're always finding something.
Right.
And it does seem to be like nursing homes are more regulated than nuclear bombs, for God's sakes. It's crazy.
And you know what bothers me, and it's a great partnership I got with Sue Rizzo now as the controller, which I always wanted, right? The last controller never did anything. She comes in, she finds something wrong.
Never had it so good.
Yeah. Well, I know. It was more political fights than inner government fights. But she comes in and then she works with us to fix the problem if there's a problem, and that's what government's about. And it's the same thing I learned in the military. Like, we go in, they do an inspection, or they write you up for not having a HAZCOM program or a PPE, and they write it for you and they train you. right? They mark you up, but they get you where you got. I mean, the state just comes in and makes your life a living hell. Except if it's a holiday, they'll take the holiday off, but they'll hold you there on the other days for 18 hours. Figure out. I go, oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's a holiday weekend. Oh, that's right, you got to go home. But
and I
you
And
made
you
my
might
yeah,
come
life
back though.
a
and I
living hell.
and I tell you
Eh,
another thing for the employees that are in there when the state comes walking in the door, it's like a funeral. They're all talking. Oh my God, the state's here,
Yep.
and you
Oh
see
yeah,
this
no,
all the time.
it's
they
and it
come
shouldn't
in.
be
They
that way.
come
It
in.
should be more of a
Yeah,
partnership. And I was
yeah,
hoping
They
Dr.
come in to screw
McDonald,
you.
John's
Period.
brother,
yeah,
was going to be better and address this. But when the state works 50%, they 2 days 1 week, 3 the next. And now we're getting fines from like 4 years ago during COVID. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, you just coming out of the coma and you're just figuring all this stuff out
yeah,
now. That's not fair to us. You didn't do your
yeah,
job. We kept doing our job. We had to be there every day. So it's like,
yeah.
don't find me now because you found something that you messed up 5 years ago.
And they can
Well,
waive
sometimes
those
you got to
fees. I
justify
do.
your existence.
I
You got to
think
justify your
you can
existence.
contest that and you can waive them. But you're right, Sean. That's exact. Look at I worked in the nursing home industry. Okay, and you're right. Okay, um, they would come in looking for something. They'd even go through people's medical records looking for errors from nurses. And what about the HIPAA laws? What are you doing looking at these records? All
Right.
kinds of stuff. But it was not a good thing when they were in there because you knew they were coming in there to find reasons that they could find you. Everybody was a
Yeah.
nervous wreck when they come walking in the door.
I agree.
Well,
No, I agree. And it
that's what they
shouldn't be
stand
that
for.
way. It really
Yeah,
shouldn't be. It's a hard job, right?
it
I
is.
don't like it when something goes wrong, trust me. But, it's like a correctional officer, and I know they're on the forefront with a lot of stuff, right? That's
Yeah,
a tough job. You're being beat up. People are human. Think of just someone in a normally easy, I don't want to say easy job, but not a lot of pressure, right? There's bad days you have. I don't care. You're human. You're going to make
yeah,
mistakes. You're going to be snappy. You had an argument at home, whatever. You're late coming into work. You're
yeah,
frustrated. And then you get into this fight, and it's like, hey, take a deep breath, man. Let's figure this out. And everyone has a bad day, but it doesn't
yeah,
mean that's what that employee is 99% most of the time. They just had a
yeah,
bad day. It happens.
yeah,
I don't like it, but it happens.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the
Hey,
Coho
Danny,
Center, I
listen.
got to tell you this: the Coho Center, Sean, Tim, you guys are going to be very happy. I hope the residents will be happy. The programs we're going to put there and the outreach
Yeah.
and the clubs, and I got a lot of partnerships I'm going to be announcing there and really open it up where it's not just a teen center. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'll
Yeah,
tell
we're
you?
excited.
I think what's really going to be big in that neighborhood is that basketball court on the outside. Because
Yeah,
I'm telling
Pickleball
you,
too.
right, and I drive by there all the time, and I see the kids there. They're playing on these, temporary hoops in the road. You're driving your car around. That's going to be such a great thing for those kids there. I'm glad whoever had that idea. I mean, that's super.
that was me. So
That was good.
and I'll take
Bullshit.
credit, but I got a good. I got
Well, I'll tell Sean Higgins down there. That's his ward down there. He's
No,
working out on
I
the.
got to tell you, it was a combination of everyone. It was like when I did the
Yeah,
pickleball courts up at the airport by our hockey facility, right? We put the 2 courts there, and everyone's like, "You're crazy. No one's gonna come here. Don't. It's a waste. It's a waste." I get
yeah,
more compliments for them 2 pickleball courts than a lot of other things.
yeah,
People are thrilled that they're there. You got to see the use that it gets. It's to the
yeah.
point now we're asking people to make reservations because people
Yeah,
are
that's crazy. That
complaining.
pickleball
Uh,
blew up.
yeah,
It
I
really
don't know.
did, and it gives advantage of people to use it. And Sean, we got a great hockey facility, and we don't get enough inner city kids. We don't get enough people that can't afford to get there and have something to do with the kids. And especially, we talk about the price of eggs, we talk about everything going up, and we can argue why that happened, didn't happen. But the reality is, when a family's sitting there going, you want to entertain your kid, but it's either put food on the table, pay the rent, pay the mortgage, pay the lights, or sit there and go, hey, look, here's an opportunity for I can do something with my family. It's not going to cost me anything. And they can enjoy themselves and be kids. And I can feel like I did something as a parent
yeah,
and that's what we've been trying to create. Showing, this is when we started the Parks and Recreation division in the Hilltowns because they didn't have it. We have, we got Lawson's Lake now, partnership with Sheriff Apple. I've been involved with them for 14 years on this. And, that's blown out of the water. And we bring inner city kids in from the city of Albany. We bus them out for free. 12-week program. We've been opening it up to the whole county to come out there. It's beautiful. And we do a summer fast. We do a winter fast. We do free hamburgers, hot dogs. People love it. In the unions, I got to say this, the union's been great. The painters unions were just out there this weekend painting all the cabins for us. They built stuff for us out there, the operating engineers, the bricklayers, the carpenters, the laborers. They've been phenomenal. And I have to tell you,
just an amazing partnership with so many people.
Yeah. And look at it. And you got
and not just
Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and all these organizations that could probably use a little space to be able to do some things,
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Danny, you do great work, my friend, and I'd love to have you come on the show. And I know we have some laughs, but the reality is we talk about some real good things that you're doing and promoting Albany County. You're a great county executive. Next week, we're going to have your partner from across the river on. We had a chance to talk to Lee Kinlan.
He told me, he said, "You better be nice, Steve." It's the funniest relationship. Him and I get along. He's a funny character like you, very passionate. And we were out to dinner with our wives, and I had people coming up saying, "How do you eat dinner with this guy?" And I'm like, "Really? Say it in front of him." And I'm like, he's a passionate guy. I said, politically, we don't agree on crap. We have our debates, we have our arguments, but at the end of the day, he's passionate for the people of Rensselaer. Like I'm passionate for the people of the county. He operates the way he operates. I operate the way I operate.
He's the real McCoy, I tell him when I say Danny.
We try to make it work. And trust me, he loves taking shots at me every day. I'll get a text if I say something wrong or I do something. He loves busting my chops. I give it right back to him. And but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm going to blow him into the water, Sean, so you can pick on him next week, all right? So I'm going to give you two something. And I was laughing. So, and I shouldn't say this on the podcast because I got to bring it to my staff. He gave me a bag of plastic or plates, straws, forks, knives, environmental friendly, biodegradable. And I'm laughing my butt off. And he goes, "What's funny?" I go, "Steve, I'm making you a Democrat. Look at what you want to introduce over here." Right? He had some. Let's put it this way. He went to 0 to 60. I thought I was fighting with the old Sean in 2012, right? He went nuts, and I started laughing. I'm like, "Buddy," I go, "I'm going to introduce this. I'm going to call it the Steve McLaughlin Initiative." It was great stuff. He goes, "You got to try this." He was so excited. I go, "Buddy," I said, "See, the Democrats are wearing off on you, man. You're getting there. You're getting there."
Yeah.
What do you think of our good DA Lee Kinlan, man? I think he's hitting a home run. He's working hard. He's trying to get it done.
We had him on earlier, and we taped the show, about 30 minutes, Sean? And he was great,
He really is. People were nervous to him, and I said, look, and I joke, because Sean knows how I joke about the branches of the military, and Lee's a Marine. I like to kid with him, but he's very passionate. He comes from a legacy of a family, and people are like, well, he defended people and criminals. Well, that's what you do as an attorney, right? You hire someone.
Well, that was his job, okay?
Right. But I go, he's coming from that spectrum. And now he's going to train. It's going to be harder for us because now he's going to train his DAs to know what they're thinking when they go to trial, right?
You think about it. Yeah, you think about it. Basically, he went from being a linebacker, for the defense, to a quarterback.
Yep. And I got to say, he's really changing the tempo of the office. I hope he stays that way. He's kept his nose down and he's beating it up. And the only thing I was busting his chops on, I go, the paper did a story on him about hiring a PR lady, and I go, well, that's funny because the last DA had the other guy for like 8 years. No one said a word about it. Now it's a story, right? And I'm like, all right, maybe they're finally waking up and going to do the right stories. And I always say this, I go, I just want a paper to be objective. Right, true story, objectively, and and treat us all the same. And Sean knows this. I go, just treat me like everyone else and be equal opportunist. And I go, that doesn't happen with us. They got the people they like and they got the people they don't like, and that's okay. I can't
Yeah.
hear you. So, Tim, this is about you and
Yeah.
me. Sean,
Yeah. This is me and
Tim,
you.
you muted him. I love this. So let's
Yeah.
leave
That
Sean
would
out
be
of this.
great.
Sean, you can take
No,
We
the
I,
lead.
can't
Tim
hear
and
him.
I got this.
Oh shit,
I
he's
was
back.
trying to talk, but I stopped because you guys were yapping on. But I said we were. I was on the front page of the Times Union 3 years in a row. I made top story 2 years in a row. That's a useless piece of paper by a useless
Listen,
bunch of people. Steve McLaughlin is gonna, he is the best. I always say he's the
Yeah.
real McCoy. He gets a kick out of
oh my
that.
God,
And
he
I
was
don't mean
busting
Dan
my
McCoy,
chops.
but
Sean, he was busting my chops. He sent me the article. I made the top 10 of the year, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly doing the coup d'etat at the airport, right? And I'm chuckling, and I'm like, a DA who was there for 24 years just got beat. He stole money. He mismanaged seizure funds to the tune of $800,000. He apologized, and they said, "Okay." He apologized. Move on. The Republican caucus and the legislature said, "Well, just apologize, David, and we can all move on." And I'm like, apologize? The guy stole money. The guy was mismanaging. There's more that's going to come out. And I'm just sitting back going, all right. And Sean, in our world, when you're in the political world, nothing's fair. We're fair game. I'm a punching bag. People either like what I'm doing, don't like what I'm doing. I got thick skin. And I said this, look, I've been to war, I've been shot at, I've been almost blown up. And, this is a walk. I'm blessed every day.
Yeah.
I walk out my door and I say to my staff and my family, I go, it's a good day, be above the ground. I'm not always right. I'm not always going to do things that right, but I have no problem saying, hey, what we're doing in government's not working. I apologize. You're not going to like everything I stand for, everything that I do. I do what's right. But at the end of the day, after November, and Sean knows this, Tim, you know this. You represent everyone. I don't go, oh, I'm sorry, are you Republican
Yeah.
or Democrat? Are you conservative or working family? I don't do that. You independent. I can't help you if you're not. I treat everyone the same. We represent everyone, and it's our passion and love for the residents of this county that you got to strive to do the best that you can every day.
look at if
Yeah.
you can't laugh at yourself, if you can't have fun in this job, if you can't come on a podcast that's laid back, that's called Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit, where we have nothing that we hide, then you can't be in this business, Danny, right? Because it would
No,
just eat you up. You got to have the
Yeah.
ability to laugh. You have to have the ability to be strong. Sometimes you have to tell people to go scratch, right? That's just the
dude,
name of the game.
Yeah.
Nobody does it better than Steve McLaughlin.
oh my
I
God,
got to be
Yeah.
honest.
I don't even want to say this on the air because
He's
he just
like
loves
my twin.
abusing me, right? But
Oh
there's
yeah.
times, man, it does get to you where you want to break down, you want to cry, you want to be like, man, you're human, right? And you're like, man, I'm just trying to do the right thing. And you two know this. At the end of the day, not only are you the representative, the elected official for your respective areas, or the city of Cohoes, or Sean when you're in the legislature and chair, and me as county executive. You're a politician too. You're both. Yes. Hello, people.
Yeah.
It's called politics for a reason. So not only are
Yeah.
you a CEO of when you were mayor of the city of Albany, you're also the politician. So you got to deal with the common council. You got to deal with the elected officials. You got to deal with everyone within your town, and it's a lot harder. Like the more I got to meet like CEOs of big companies, and they're like, how I got 19 unions I got to deal with. They're like, how the hell do you do it? And they go, I can't believe what you have to go through. And I'm like, I know. And it's hard
The
to make it
worst
work.
the worst part of government, and we were both part of it, is the legislative body. I got to say this because a lot of them are morons that could never do anything. They're lucky they can tie their shoes. I used to sit in the legislature and think to myself, are you really kidding me? Did you really just say that? They're just trying to pass laws so they can tell people, this is what I did. Yeah, all right, you stopped me from drinking through a straw. Okay, yeah, I can't eat a cupcake. Or, yeah, you want to outlaw bullets in Albany County, but you can walk across the street and get them in Rensselaer County. A lot of people do foolish things when they get elected. I don't know if they come in there like that or if somehow once they get there, they want to be like, important.
There's and Sean, I got to say this, being a legislator for 12 years, I met some very passionate people that cared, and, people that you sit there, regardless, it could be a county executive, could be a mayor. You sit there and like, how the hell did you get in office? Right. And,
how the hell?
But I got to tell you, Joanne Cunningham as chair, Dennis Feeney is majority leader. It's been a great relationship. I know you probably won't hear this. We don't agree. We have our fights. Trust me. We have our meetings. We have our disagreements. But we're making it work for the people, because no one at the end of the day wants to hear us fighting. No one wants to see us out fist fighting or calling each other out. I'm not happy with a lot of things, but at the end of the day, you got to navigate the water and represent the people. And right now, I got to tell you, knock on wood, for the last year of this term, my fourth term, it's been a better relationship with the legislature. I don't always agree. I have to overlook, because you can't win every battle, right? And sometimes I just go, it's not worth it. Just let them do it. And I agree with you, Sean.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes they would sit back and go, hey, like, there's laws we passed when I was in the legislature and I thought were great. And I became county executive. I'm like, why did we pass that? Get to know the operation, what that agency does. And you're like, talk to them. Hey, what law would work to make it better for you to do your job?
Absolutely. Right? That was my position always, right?
Right. And it took me a couple of years to figure that out as county executive. Like, hey, look, I'd go back to the ledge, Sean, when you're there. Hey, this law doesn't work. This is hindering them from doing their operation. And I used to say to the commissioners, why didn't you say anything when you're at the committee? They're like, well, it's a legislature, and I didn't want to fight with them. I go, but you have an obligation to run your program, and if it's hurting what you're doing, then you got to speak up.
Yeah, I think what happens is legislators get this power. They get a power trip sometimes. I remember sitting in those committees thinking, you don't know shit from shingle. How are you telling this guy how to run his department? Or how you telling him he can do this better than, that he's doing? He's the expert, and you work at a bakery. How do you, so sometimes it's just confusing to me. I'll call political bullshit, because 39 members, I was on that committee in that legislature. Very hard to handle.
Listen, I as president and county executives of America on a national level, they laugh at me. They go, you got how many? And they go, I go 39. I go, we're the biggest in the state of New York, right? But I found out we're one of the biggest in the country, right? And they go, how long do they meet? I go, year round. He goes, oh, my legislature meets 4 months and they're going. I'm like, what do you do the other 8? I'd be happy, right? And I agree with you. It needs to shrink. If I wrote a book, one of the most epic failures was trying to shrink the legislature, right sizing it, because people go, "Will you represent 1 million people?" I go, "No, we represent 320,000 people." Yeah. And they go, "What? How many people are they in charge of?" And I get what they say. It's a voice in the community. But you can still do that. Whether you represent 7,000 or 4, you might have to knock on more doors. You might have to go to more neighborhood meetings, but you're getting a good salary, and you can better effectively run government. And quite honestly, people don't realize this. Sean, you know this, and you and I had this debate 1,000 times. If I went from 39 to 25 or 20, it's harder to do my job, because now you're dealing with a smaller caucus, in people that actually become a little bit more powerful. For that cause.
Yeah, depending on how close the balance is. Yeah.
Right. And people don't get it. They think that it's about a power grab. I'm like, no, it's not a power grab in my hand, because if I 39, because you got so many personalities, as you know, that you got too many people going in different directions. And Sean, you were chair, and that's one thing I said to Joanne, and I said to Andrew Joyce when he was chair. I go, the hardest thing when I was chair of the Leds, it's a lot of, you got 38 personalities you got to figure out, and you got to bring them together in your caucus. You got to bring them together on your floor, and it makes it hard. It makes it hard to be
Danny, let's be honest. 30 people is about 30 too many. I've been there. I used to listen to these people and have these debates, and I'd be like, I know that I'm just a stupid fireman who runs into buildings when everybody's running out, but something tells me I'm a little smarter than these people, because they were just doing shit that just made me cringe. And, remember me always saying to you, passing laws that steal away people's rights, because once you pass a law, it does curtail your rights, right? It takes away something or hinders how you do something, should be very difficult. It shouldn't be something that's very easy. So you shouldn't be able to just be in a caucus with 39 legislators in the county government, and somebody throws out a law and they all raise their hand. Next thing you know, there's a new law in the county, and you go, why? Why did this pass? Well, this was his last day in the county ledge, and we wanted to give him a law to pass. Just stupid shit, right?
I know what you're referring to, and that
you do.
I do. That cracked me up, Sean, because I'm like, okay, you're passing this. None of you are going to follow it, and you're doing it because he's on his way out. Okay. And I'm like, but it makes no sense. Tim, you see it. It makes no sense, right? And, and Sean, I actually like to get your opinion, and Tim, to your degree, because this is like, and I mean this from about my heart, as much as I fight with a certain paper all the time, we need a paper. We need people to keep government honest, right? To write the
No,
true
screw the
stories
paper, Danny.
and to
Screw the paper.
be
Screw the
objective,
paper.
right?
You want the truth? You come on Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit because we're going to tell you the
Hey,
truth. We ain't
Dan,
gonna
I'm
write.
Coming from me, I will tell
Dan,
you,
We're
I'm
not
this is
going to
a
give
hard
slaying
you
pill,
shit.
Tim.
no,
This is
no,
a
no,
hard pill to swallow. But I
no,
will say
Dan.
this to you: it keeps government honest when they're there writing true stories, being objective, not writing a
Yeah,
narrative
but
they
tell
want,
me a true
writing the
story that's.
truth, and letting the listeners or the readers decide what they think is best. And that's what we've lost in papers across this country, in journalism as a whole. Across this country, the Sean, like you said, the segment of your show, people kids do not trust media anymore. And
No.
it's like government, where they didn't trust government, they don't trust media now. And we need to change that
Danny,
narrative. We need to get back
why
to
do you
that.
grow in leaps and bounds on our show? You know why?
Yeah.
Because you come on this show and it's not a I got you show. We're going to agree on stuff. We're going to laugh. We're going to disagree on stuff respectfully. But I'm not going to make up something and say, Danny McCoy lied about this and he lied. How the hell do I know if you lied about anything? All I know is that there's a topic of interest and let's talk about it. If you want to talk about it, we can. If you don't,
Yeah.
we don't. But if we do lay it on the table, it's going to be factual because we're going to hear right from you. And we're going to hear from other people that are
And we
part of the
vet,
process.
right?
No, it's
We vet as much as we can too.
I laugh because I used to like watching Real Sports on HBO with Brian Gumbel, right? And at the end, there's one of the reporters, an older white guy, and I forget his name. They would talk and they go, "Hey, we weren't supposed to. We always got to be objective, and we got to just write so people can decide what the story is. But you get passionate about something." And he goes, "What passion?" And I'm like, "We've lost that, right? Because again, I'm not perfect." And not everything I do is perfect, and not every deal is perfect. And I get exposing that stuff. And I know they're there not to say the good stuff that we did, but people want to hear good stories about their community.
Well, Danny McCoy just got shot by the Times Union.
Oh.
No, I thought Brendan Lyons come after you and shot you or something.
You know what I was thinking, Dan? I was saying to myself, for Christ's sakes, Dan hit a milestone and he got Morse to mute his mic for 45 seconds, and then you disappear.
I know.
Well, you know what happened? I was trying to
He probably doesn't like the comments he's getting.
Yeah.
He's probably like,
no. I honest to God, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I got a bad cold, and I was sniffing during the last one, and the mic's so good, all you hear is. So I said, I got to mute my mic. And then I forgot to turn it back on because what the hell do I got to say? I'm just rambling on, right?
Tim, I got one bone of contention. Sean stole my line. I just saw it when I was watching it. The good, the bad, the ugly. Because I always say that, right? And I'm like, wow, that SOB just stole what I always say. I've been saying that for 14 years because it's the good and the bad and the ugly of any situation. And you guys know this. Both
and it's on our intro
in office, right? The truth's always somewhere in the middle, right? And
you know
it's
what
hard.
people love? They love the fact that you would come on the show, and Lee Kinlan would come on the show, and Sheriff Apple will come on the show. You guys are true politicians.
They're patriots,
elected by the people, and you don't say, "Oh, I'm too good to go on any show," right?
Right.
We're not the legacy media. We are a podcast that now has 133,000 people watching us a month. I think that's pretty insane when you think we started with just me and Timmy talking to ourselves. Right?
They must be drinking Gaho's water.
Well, they are, and we make sure that there's a subliminal message in our show.
Yeah,
we're
going to start bottling it soon too.
They go like this.
You
and
guys see my
subscribe.
PR staff, the panic they go into when I go on the Paul Vanderberg show, right? And he hammers the hell out of me every day. And honestly, I'm friends with one of his sons, and every time I call him, he goes, "What did my father say today?" And we laugh. And again, he has his point of view, but again, I don't dislike the guy. He's putting a source of media out there, whether I agree to it or not, to a listening base. And he always does. If I call him up and say, "Hey, Paul, I want to come on. I want my fair shake," he'll do it. Yeah. And he invites me on at different times when he wants to beat me up. But I got to tell you something. he's fair like you are, Sean. He's going to ask some tough questions. When I go on his show like this, I got to be ready for anything. And I think I'm going in to talk about A, and I'm on Z going, how the hell that happened? And then he brings something up like he has a memory for everything. And it's the same thing when you deal with reporters. They got a thing they want. And you know what? I don't mind a fair question. I don't mind something. I just don't like when it's objective. And then at the end of the day, sometimes it's not worth like saying, well, that's not true. It's factual, that event, but that's not factual what happened, right? When I was getting all these bad stories because I stood by my deputy who, was dumb, and Sean knows where I stand on this for drinking and driving and what happened. But you can't we're a nation of second chances, right? How does someone get rehabilitated when they come out of prison? How do you give someone a second chance when they make mistakes? Sean and I wouldn't be, I don't know your story, Tim. I wouldn't be here if people didn't give me opportunities and breaks and mentor me when I was misguided, right? And help me along the way. And I try to give that back every day and saying, hey, look, it was someone like you that believed in me. They saw something in me I didn't see. They saw something in me. Other people said, this kid's not worth it. Don't waste your time. That's what I try to do every day. And again, I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? It's.
I'll tell you, there's something perfect about you though, Danny.
What's that?
And it's that freaking hairdo that you have.
I know. Thanks.
I tell people all the time, the guy's got the most perfect hair I've ever seen. And you see a picture of him, he's all dressed up, got a I go, look at his hair. I don't even have any. I try to take it and fluff it to the left, fluff it to the right. And this guy comes out and he's like, the Don Juan of county executives. I'm like, I don't get it. So you do have perfect
my
hair.
wife and daughters, now you, my granddaughter, busting out of the bathroom. I'm like, what the hell do you do in here? It takes time to get an ugly face to look good.
Yeah. He's like
4 hours.
He's like right. He's like that Wayne Newton out in Vegas.
Yeah, he's like Danny Newton.
Right.
I'm like, Sean, throw a hat on real quick. And he's like Danny Newton. I used to go, Danny, come on, we got a press conference. And he's got to push the tie. I just throw my hands in my hair and go, let's go. But hey, Danny, listen, you promised me 15 minutes. It's been 51 minutes because when I talk with you and you come on the show, really time flies because you know what? It's fun. It's real. Listen, I appreciate you coming on. It's your second time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll come on a third time and a fourth time. We have a lot of fun with you. But the reality is I ain't blowing smoke up your ass because you know that I wouldn't do that. You're doing a fantastic job. And the things that you're doing really matter. And if something doesn't matter, I'll call you. I'll let you know.
I don't put
you on the top of the.
There it goes. Just like Billy Ethier.
I know.
You guys get crazy and you don't stop, and you're like, you guys are out of your mind.
Dan, I'll leave it like this for you. Okay. The bottom line is this. Okay, you brought in breaking news for the people that host tonight and Albany County, and that was great to have that come out.
No, thank you. And I'll say this to you guys, man. And I appreciate it because I love constructive criticism. I like it when people are live on Facebook and it's truly them and they don't agree with me. I hate the fake account bullshit. I hate people with fake accounts that hide behind some fake name. You know what? I got more respect. I don't expect everyone to agree with me. I got more respect for a guy like you two or someone on Facebook or comes up to my face and says, in a respectful way, I don't agree with you. You're an ass. They say, I'm like, okay, I agree. You don't like what we did. This is why I did it, but I understand it. You can agree to disagree. And it's like with Steve McLaughlin and myself, like, it's like the Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan days, right? You can fight all day on legislation, but you got to find common ground at the end. And that's what our nation needs to get back to. We need to get back to common sense governing, taking care of the people. It's not about my ego. It's not about me getting out there, but if I can make a change and do some stuff economically, what we're doing with the College of St. Rose, Host Community Center, the McDonald's site, the property I just brought in downtown Albany, the extraordinary things we're going to do, if I can make a difference, to me, that's what, and expand our services, because that's the most important thing. Give kids opportunity, but help people get off welfare, get them trained for a job. There's so many things. Like, I'll leave you on this, and I know we're running out of time. With immigrants, we took them in. We had 1,500. Everyone else, I had enough. I won't call this other Democratic county executive out that was beating the hell out of the Republicans for grandstanding. They were attacking Steve, and I go, wait a minute. I don't even want to say the size of his county, but I'm small compared to him. And I go, you had 100 people. I had 1,500. We made it work. But what I also brought to light was the people we have in our shelters, the amount of women and children on our streets in Albany County that are homeless. And I said, can we please take care of our people too, first and foremost, and take care of these people. But let's take care of our people first, because for whatever reason, they fell bad on luck. I don't care if it was drugs. I don't care, whatever their situation will be, don't judge them. They they're in a bad situation. Let's make it a good outcome from them. And that to me is everything. But I'll leave you two on this because I know I'm running out of time. Sean, we started doing a podcast because you're right. You got to bring it to direct. So we started doing Albany County Direct, not trying to compete with you, just trying to get our story out.
Don't even think you're going to compete with me, kid.
I want my slogan back.
Yeah.
But I got to
it's
get
for
a
sale.
sidekick like Tim. I like this. I got to get a sidekick. But no, just being direct and just saying, hey, here's the services. Because Sean, you know this. And Tim, you know this. Most people don't even realize the benefits they have from the city of Cohoes or Watervliet, Grand Island, or wherever in the county, and what the county provides that can help them, give them the foundation for a better life. And that's one epic failure, I'll say, too, that people need to understand what we're doing, and we're there for them, man. We want to get them back on the right path. And the people that are
listen, I'm going to give you a little advice, Danny. I'm going to give you a little advice because I seen the county budget. I know how much money you make. You need to buy a better camera when you come on our show because you've been frozen for 20 minutes. And ever since I told you that you had great hair, here's what I think happened. You actually just put your picture up there. You ran over there to look in the mirror to see how you were looking. You're looking good, kid.
I had to blur it out because I used to have this office at my house, and I got this 3-year-old granddaughter who took over.
Oh,
and
welcome to my life.
My office is all her toys, and let's just say I lost my dressing room and my my suits and everything are down here. So I'm like a bum. Every night before I go to bed, I got to pick out my suit to bring upstairs to bed.
Well,
so
we appreciate you
down here in the morning.
We appreciate you putting the picture up and still talking to us via telephone. So, hey, listen, Danny, great talking to you. You know I love you. You're a good man, and
I'm going to see to it that Gil calls him at 1 o'clock in the morning.
If you want
Gil's gonna watch this, digest it, and call me at 1 in the morning going, what?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
Hey, can we all just do Gil your favor? Gil, we love you. It's all about
we
you.
We do love
Gil.
We love his whole family. Gil's a great man.
No,
and what I was gonna say is, if you have other stuff you want to promote, please come on and Truth Lies Political Bullshit and promote it. We're the best place for you to promote it to the capital region, especially in upstate New York. And we're really proud that the Cohoes Community Center is coming back to life, whatever the name may be. The spirit will still be the same, and I know that. So kudos to you, to your staff, to the governor, to everybody involved who produced the cash to make this happen. And
Tim,
Cohoes is a better place.
Tim, he thanked the governor. I'm going to tell him.
I know. Yeah, I'll make a note of that here.
Hey, Danny, just so you know, I am a Democrat. You know what I mean?
I know that. I'm teasing you.
And just because some of our party has gone so far to the left that it's like a teeter-totter, doesn't mean that I still don't love what we stand for, which is the everyday people, organized labor, taking care of single moms, taking care of the old, the frail, the needy. Government doesn't need to exist for anybody other than the people who are struggling in life. It doesn't need to exist to help rich people get richer, right? It just needs to exist so that old people who are sick, frail, have a nursing home and a place to go. Single mothers can feed their kids. Orphans can find people to love them. That's why county government is fun, because you really are in the part of government that touches the lives of the people who need it the most.
Sean,
you've done a great job.
I agree more. And when people are begging me to run for mayor, and I had a lot of people offering to raise me money,
I was begging you too.
I know, and you know what? I'll say this again on your, and I think I said it on your. My wife said, "Yeah, where are you moving?" And I go, "I'd move over to City Hall if I win, right?" And she's like, "No, where are you moving?" I go, "City Hall." She goes, "No, where are you moving? Because you're getting the hell out of this goddamn house. I'm not putting up with that." Right?
Yeah, and, you know what? Then you got a better job
there. And I got to tell you though, county government, Sean, you just summed it up. That's why I love county government. Not taking any away from a city mayor. You're a city mayor, Sean, but there's so many, from speech to OT to transportation for kids with special needs, to mental health for children. I could just list the dental clinic we have. So it's awesome to sit there and go, hey, you know what? We can touch a lot of lives, or I can and do extraordinary things that people don't even hear about that we do, or I could be mayor, and I'd rather do the job I'm doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, Danny, I was the mayor. It's a thankless job, and so isn't the county exec, except for the fact that there's so many people that know that you've touched their lives, and in the mayor's position, there's so many people that want to yell at you because their garbage didn't get picked up. So you're in a better spot. You're really doing some good stuff for people. I wouldn't want to see you take off because I don't know of a better county exec in Albany County in the history that the county's been a form of government that had a legislature and a county executive. So keep up the good work, my friend. Thanks for coming on the show. I look forward to seeing you, and say hello to the family.
Hey, thank you guys. Same thing here
Take
too.
care, Dan.
Tim, thank you for being on the show and really being the good guy you are. Because I don't know if I could have lasted an hour with Sean.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Hey,
let you.
hey, I've been tested time in every Wednesday night. I'm tested. Have a good
I
night.
Listen,
You're a patient
if it was
man.
just
You're a
me,
patient
if
man.
it's just me, I'd have had your brother Brian on it because I have more in
Well,
common with him.
That's a very true statement, Sean. Very true statement.
Say hello to the family, Danny.
I will. Same here, guys. I'll
God
talk
bless
to
you, my friend.
Yep,
God bless
you
you.
too.
Take care. He's a good man, that Danny Mccoy.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, he didn't have to do anything with that community center. It's not up to him to do what the
No,
city should have done.
they
And
worked to save it, and you're right. Cahoe should have
yeah,
done
right.
this.
He didn't have to do this. You know that we had the plan to buy the community center, right? We
Mhm.
had it all in place. We were going to buy the community center, turn it into a one-stop shop,
Yep.
library, recreation center, education center,
Mhm.
maybe even universal pre-K classrooms in the day. But unfortunately, I wasn't there, and it didn't come to fruition. And instead, they go buy this stupid-ass old bank.
Bank. Right.
This old bank is definitely going to be a money pit and a failure at the highest level,
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's gonna
Timmy, we
be.
had some other stuff to talk about in Cahoes, but we've been on for an hour now, and I'm done
So
talking. People are sick of listening to me, but you know what? We're going to be back on twice a week. We got a couple shows next week, and so maybe Monday night we'll hit the stuff in Cahoes,
yeah, and let's
and
get that. And let's
Wednesday.
get that. Let's get the video up with Lee that we recorded earlier. Lee
Yeah,
Kingley.
we'll have the lease show up on probably
So,
Facebook and YouTube in
yep.
the next day or so. As soon as we have
Yep.
to, the difference between live and taped is the editing process, which takes a
Yeah.
little bit longer.
Yep.
And I think
Okay.
I can appreciate Danny because you know what? He was really busy and he actually had to get up a few times and take some calls and answer some
Yeah.
stuff while he's actually, putting his
Mhm.
picture up there and still hearing his audio. And it's
Yep.
funny because there's been a lot of people who've asked me if they could come on and just do audio. And we actually didn't have the ability to do that. And now we do. So
Yeah.
sometimes you may just see a picture of somebody. They're not frozen. They're not moving because it's actually just their audio. But we have a new plan in place to make sure that you'll know that it's just audio. So we appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you. We will talk about the Cahoes water plan again
Yep.
because this city has become completely irresponsible. We have liars that are telling you that the water did not mix with dirty water. We have proof that they didn't do what they said they did. Came right from the city when we audited it for the
Yep.
records to
Well,
show the bacteria test. And now again, they're attacking employees because Steve Hennessy is just a tyrant at the highest level. Shame
yes,
on
he
you,
is.
Steve. If you hear the show, you've been my friend for a long time, probably 45 years now. Shame on you. I'm going to call you out on the show. You ought to be ashamed the way you treat these people and what you've become.
Yes.
You become a tyrant and you become a monster. And a lot of people have lost a lot of faith in you. And I'm sad to say that because at one time I loved you and you were a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And today you are a man that I despise. And
He's a pathological liar, Sean. That's
well,
what
it's the
he is.
way that he treats the people.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
things that he does to people. This guy
Yeah.
just thinks he's the Gestapo, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's sickening. And I get
Yeah.
more calls from people saying I can't. I'm a man and I'm being treated like
Yeah.
this by this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, we'll talk about that. We'll have a whole show about some of
Young
that
and
stuff.
old. Let's talk about it next time, Sean.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching Truth Lies Political Bullshit, and we'll see you next week.